Now, after releasing the brakes upon the mind, we accelerate because the self-imposed holds are let go of, and we see new horizons. The new horizons are vast and without limitation. So we step on the gas, and we want to move into this vastness. We step on the gas, we accelerate, we try to get there more quickly. As we enter it, we find ourselves expanding into it. We stretch out. We reach out in all directions, just like a tree does when its roots and branches grow out, taking in more of the air and more of the sun and more of the earth. We could liken the earth to the physical, the air to the mental, and the sun to the spiritual. The sun is the all-permeating rays that spread out and go over everything. The air is the intangible substance like that of mind, and the earth is the very physical, solid, material substance. The seed of the tree first begins to creep out with its roots slowly into the earth, taking what it can of the physical. Then it grows a stem. It moves upward, begins to partake of the air, the mental. As it continues its growth, it grows its branches and spreads out, taking in as much of the sunshine through its leaves as it possibly can, absorbing the spiritual substance. And so we seem to do likewise. We are first involved in a very physical world. Then we begin to think about it. We wonder, why is this physical world holding us back? Why can't we move faster and get more of the things we want? We sort of knock ourselves out in this physical world. And it causes us to think mentally, to look for the answers. And when we find out that we cannot get it in the physical, the mind directs us to the overall, the spiritual. Like the tree, we expand, we move out into, we absorb and make part of us the sun, the spiritual, the air, the mental, and the earth, the physical. We expand out into the universe of spirit, spreading our minds into the vastness of the universe, and taking more of the very best that earth has to offer. In the process of expansion, we begin to identify with and become this new vast universe that we are becoming aware of. We begin to see that it is an integral part of ourselves. Accident and coincidence melt away into the knowledge of cause, that this tremendous expanse with all the things in it is only something that was created by ourselves, that is, by our inner self. It loses its strangeness, and the more we look into it, the more it reveals its secrets, because It is only that which we at one time set up ourselves. I am using the word self now, meaning our inner self, the soul part of us, that some of us call God. Yes, it begins to all look familiar, as though we have known all this once before, and we are stimulated to further and further expansion. We continue in this direction until, lo and behold, we suddenly realize that we are this infinite universe, that it is nothing but a reflection of our own thought, that our thought once created it out of basic substance called divine mind, and that just for fun and growth we decided to play a game of make-believe, making believe that we were not the creators, only so that we could have the fun of rediscovering that we are the creators. Also, and this is the most important part of the game, that we have the possibility of growth, that by the experience we can have it more strongly impressed upon us as to who and what we are, that we are unlimited, possessing all knowledge, all power, all places. Yes, we come out of this self-imposed game of the limited physical world with the very positive knowing that there are no bounds for us, that we are unlimited, that we are infinity itself. To the degree that we realize this, to that degree are we aware of it, and to that degree can we make use of it. So, the realizing of it is the making it real for us. And how do we get to realize it? By going within, by thinking on the questions of who am I? What am I? What is God? And what is my relationship to God? This thinking on it we have a name for. You have all heard it time and time again. We call it meditation. We sometimes say meditation is thinking on God. It might be more meaningful to some of us to say it is thinking on the whys and wherefores of life and the universe. So we see that meditation is the key to realizing the infinitude within us. If we say we have no time for meditation, we are only saying that we are limited beings and are going to remain so, that this living, which by its lack of knowingness is of necessity filled with constant struggle, problems, and troubles, is what we are going to maintain. We are satisfied with it, and we are going to hold on to it. It is so foolish, once we see it, to live in a narrow, confined, and stifling life when we can, and we are, able to expand it. Friends, this is all ours to have. It is ours by our very nature. The spiritual substance that we are made in and made out of offers all this to each and every one of us. All we need to do is to take it. How? By expanding our awareness to it, by releasing and letting go of the brakes that are holding us back, holding our attention on problems, on sickness, on poverty, and on restrictions of all kinds. And then, instead of keeping our minds on the things we do not want and thinking on the things we do not want, we should think only on the things we do want. Yes, by just thinking on the things we do want, we can change our entire confused and limited life into one of beauty, health, and abundance. And then, by thinking of the greater things, the vastness of this universe, the universe itself will become ours to have, and to travel in, and to live in. Yes, friends, let us think what we want. Think what you want. And this is a far more powerful idea than you ever dreamed of. Simple, isn't it? Have you ever tried it? You will at first, without thought, say, "Of course, I think of the things I want." But I assure you that if you will honestly examine your daily thoughts, not only will you find many limiting ones, but also that you will have a thought reversing all the thoughts of unlimitedness. You will say to yourself, "I cannot be a millionaire. That's for the millionaires. I cannot have a top job. That's for the top executives. They have them." Friends, there are no limits to the number of top jobs, millionaires, and so forth. Supply is unlimited. And it is so for you, if you would but accept it in your thinking, if you would just have the radical reliance upon it, make it a conviction, make it a part of you, and you will find that everything you think of quickly becomes yours. I believe that the time has now come when we must expand our thinking and elevate ourselves into a higher and better way of life. Unfortunately, time is running out. There are so many of our brothers here on earth who will continue to think in terms of narrowness, of limitations, of concepts that do not allow us to be the real spiritual being that we are. That the thinking of the masses of our brothers is going to reap what they are thinking. This, of necessity, is the operation of the law that says, "A man is as he thinketh." A man gets what he thinks of. That man is the creator of his own destiny. Now, we have no right to interfere with these brothers of ours who think that way. But if they should ask us, by all means, we should certainly try to show them the light, to show them what we know, to show them the way out of man's difficulties and limitedness. But, however, remember that even though our brother will not look upward, will not expand, it is necessary for us to do so if we want to save ourselves the extreme difficulties of going through a destructive process only so that we may renew our bodies and get a fresh new start. The thinking of our brothers is very obvious. It is no secret. It is written in all our mediums of news and entertainment. Just take a look at the newspapers today. What makes news? Catastrophe, accidents, wars, mass troubles. What is the most common type of entertainment? Tragedies, killings, troubles. The number of happy pictures are so few we can very easily count them if we so wish. But unfortunately they are by far too little. Now these mass mediums of entertainment and news are constantly being impressed upon our minds every time we see, read, or hear of them. This is the future we are creating for ourselves, if this be our consciousness. It is so important, friends, not to be in the consciousness of man today. As I said, his future is being presented in our newspapers, over our radio, and on our TV. Do you want this? Is this the future you would like to have? If not, you must let go. Release and accelerate your pace. Accelerate your pace and begin expanding. Change your thinking. Practice thinking only on the things you really want. You must make an effort. You must begin. You must start making this a constant daily diet. You must think only of the things you really want. You must take your minds off the smallness of the earth concepts of living and turn them outward and upwards and expand them into this vast universe until the habit of your thinking becomes universal, that all your thoughts have the motivating basis of whether or not this is good from a universal standpoint. And so, to the degree that we make our thinking universal, to that degree do we become universal. To that degree does the vastness of unlimited supply, unlimited power, unlimited beingness become ours. It is not a thing of sink or swim. No, we must do much more than just swim. Swimming keeps us struggling in the dampness of the mud of things. We must rise above the level of the water. We must go out into this universe. We must absorb it. We must make it part of ourselves. Let us resolve to think from here on of only the things that we do want. Let us resolve to think of the things of greater vastness, of universal significance. Let us take the focus of our attention off our small selves. Let us put it out in the direction of the bigger self, the divine self that we really are. Let us release the brakes, accelerate our pace, and expand into this beautifully wondrous universe that is ours for the taking. I will close with a poem entitled Rise and Expand. Raise your level of consciousness as the mountains rise above the plain and the eagle soars above the storm, knowing no bondage to wind and rain. The rains must come to the narrow earth. The storms are a part of its life. but we can find within our souls the peace and beauty above the strife. Peace, friends.